There we go. Good afternoon to all of you, fellow Toastmaster and distinguished guests. It's a pleasure to welcome you to our first meeting of May. And it's a great honor to see so many of you and having a full agenda for this meeting. Before I turn it to the Toastmaster of the day, and before I ask our guest, David, just to say a few words to introduce himself, just let me inform you that our next meeting is scheduled on Tuesday, the 18th of May. And just as a reminder, this is an evening meeting that we're doing at 6 o'clock. So we're trying to capture another type of audience. So please don't hesitate to sign up if you're interested. We will do this on an experimental basis this month on the third Tuesday of the month at 6 o'clock, and we'll do it again in June to see if there is interest in having other evening or late afternoon meeting. After that, we will have our second meeting of the month, traditional on the fourth Tuesday of the month on the 25th of May. And this will be a special meeting because it will be also the equivalent of our General Assembly, where we will appoint a new executive committee for the VIC Toastmaster Club that would take in effect as of the 1st of July. So we'll have an opportunity to have a new team taking over the management of the club. And so the first part of the meeting will be dedicated to that. And I invite you all to participate because we will need at least 50% of our members to be there to have the required quorum. Also on this note, I would like to highlight that Tom Pauls has been selected as the former president of the club to be the person who guide us to this process and can receive a nomination. If you're interested to take any of the role of the club, he's the contact person for that, and you can hear more about this. And if you can stay a bit later after the meeting, we can also share some information on this. I see that Maria Teresa has a great excitement to share some thought on this process, and I'll turn it over to her right now. Maria Teresa.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. It's just a semantic point. The executive committee is not appointed, it's elected. It's elected by the members. We have to have a quorum, but also important, you have to be a paid member in order to be eligible to vote. So for those of you who are not caught up with your dues and want to have a voice in all of this, please pay your dues. That's it.
Thank you very much, Maria Teresa. So anyone welcome to join, and I hope to see you at the next meeting. On that note, I will briefly turn to our guest, David, just to say a few words, how you heard about Toastmaster, and just briefly introduce yourself.
Thank you very much. My name is David. I heard about the Toastmasters thanks to Julia and also Karen Lucatero. I found the initiative very exciting and I really wanted to join since some months ago. But unfortunately, due to previous work commitments, my schedule was overlapping, and therefore just until now I'm able to join. So I'm really looking forward to be here and learn from you. And I want to improve my public speaking abilities, considering also the fact that in 15 days I have to give a speech in a wedding, but I hope that I will improve in these 2 weeks. But yeah, generally speaking, I'm very excited to be here.
Thank you, David. We're very welcome to have you for this meeting. As a guest, you can attend 3 meetings of Toastmaster before deciding or not if you want to become a member. So just for you to be aware, and we'll ask you at the end of the meeting, what was your feeling on the meeting? So you'll have an opportunity to speak again, but maybe not deliver your best man speech, but do a speech. On that note, I'll turn it to Maria Teresa, who's going to be the Toastmaster of the day, to organize and please take over the management of this meeting. Over to you, Maria Teresa.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tristan. Fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests, I would particularly like to warmly welcome Maria, Ishan, and Melissa, who's trying to get in. We have not seen you for a while, but that doesn't mean that we don't miss you. It's lovely to have you back in the Toastmaster family. We know that work commitments and life sometimes throw us some things. We can't be coming to every meeting, but whenever you come, you're always a pleasant addition.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Maria Teresa.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I've pasted our agenda in the chat. Toastmaster Rena as Sergeant at Arms. I miss our printed copies of an agenda because all I had to do as Toastmaster of the day is glance down and see what I'm supposed to be doing. But now I have to flip through screens, but I'm pretty flexible. In any event, we do have a full program. Let me at least go through a few of these points. We will have 2 prepared speeches. We have a table topic session and we have an evaluation section. And luckily, believe it or not, we have a full program prior to the meeting. A little bit tight in places, but we're all ready to go. So it won't be me talking now. I turn over as the next part of this meeting to the general evaluator who will perhaps introduce her team.
Thank you, Madam Toastmasters of the day. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. Giving constructive feedback to colleagues is a key element of every Toastmasters Club meeting. So as a general evaluator, I will be observing the conduct of the meeting, and at the end of the meeting, I will provide a report. I'm not going to do this all alone. I have a team who is going to assist me on that. I will quickly announce the evaluators of the speakers. Before each speech, the evaluator will be asked to read the objectives of the speech. Our first evaluator today is Toastmaster Maria, who will be evaluating Toastmaster Nicole. Our second evaluator today is Toastmaster Lily, who will be evaluating Toastmaster Voina. The rest of my team is composed by an counter, who is Toastmaster Gordana. The ballot counter today is Toastmaster Pinar. Then we have grammarian Esan, who is going to take the role today. We have a timekeeper who is Toastmaster Rena and is already timing everything. So at the end of the meeting, as I said, I will provide my short evaluation. And now I will give back the word to our Toastmaster of today, Toastmaster Maria Teresa, please.
Thank you, Toastmaster Monica. We always know you can't do it alone. We're all here together. It's now time for us to move into the prepared speech section of the meeting. And we have 2 very diverse speakers. We have one who has been with the club a long time, very seasoned. And we have another who's a relatively new member. I wouldn't call her a newbie, but she hasn't been in the club as long as Nicole. We also will be having speeches from Pathways. And it's lovely to see the 2 of you progressing so quickly with Pathways. So let me stop talking and give the floor to the evaluator for the first prepared speech. And that happens to be, I don't see you named here. So I guess it's Toastmaster Maria. Maria, we know you're Chaparina and CTBTO, but it would be better if we knew you were also an evaluator. But can you please explain the purpose of Toastmaster Nicole's speech?
Thank you very much, Maria Teresa, and thank you also for your warm words of welcome just a few minutes ago. It has indeed been a while since I've been in this amazing club meeting. Nicole's speech today will be within her Pathways framework, the level 3 framework, with the main objective being to be a persuasive speaker, trying to convince the audience to follow her reasoning and to follow her ideas. She will present a speech on the topic she has chosen, and the main objective I will be evaluating is whether she has been persuasive enough and whether she has managed to convince us about her main ideas. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Maria. I would remind everybody here that you also can be an evaluator in that you give feedback to Nicole after her speech. So let's perk up our ears. Let's welcome a very seasoned, experienced, and to my way of thinking, incredible Toastmaster who always gives us something to think about afterwards. So without any further, yes?
May I know the timing?
Yeah, I was going to get to that, Pinar, but thank you. I appreciate that. The speech is coming from Pathways, Presentation Mastery, and the target time is 5 to 7 minutes. So now I ask.
Maria Teresa, excuse me, before I start and before you start praising, I've got to battle with technology. So I've got to share my screen because I have a presentation. So can I share the screen the way it's set up now? I can share my screen?
You should try. I mean, click on the button, share screen, and if not, you have to negotiate with the Zoom master.
That I can share it. Now I have to put, okay, let me see. Okay, and I still see, I can pin the timer, I can pin Rena, so that's fine. So I can start, thank you.
Okay, so the title of Toastmaster Nicole's speech is Read Me Please. Read me please. Toastmaster Nicole.
You may tell me it's too difficult. You may also tell me, poof, won't make any difference. Or you may tell me, okay, I'll try. Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, what on earth am I talking about? In fact, something very simple. Reading food labels or information that is written on food packages. So you may tell me it's too difficult. Well, you're not wrong, because information about a product is usually not on the front of a package. It's sometimes at the back. Most often it's on the side and hidden in the middle of other information. So once you've found the information in the package, you've got to be able to read it. And if you're like me, over 50, you'd better not forget your glasses, because most of the time it's written in such small characters that you can't read it. Okay, you've got your glasses on. It's not at the end of your trouble, because once you can read, you've got to understand. Salt, sugar, that's easy. But then you get those little numbers, E something. There are 999 of them. And they're there to tell you what kind of food colors, preservatives, antioxidants, and other thickeners there are in the products. They're illegal, but unless you're a chemist and you've got a very good memory, there's a fair chance you won't know what's in the product, really. You may also tell me it's not worth it. Look, I'm over 50. I've never read a food label or information on a package before. I'm not going to start now. Think twice, because you might live another 15, another 30, another 40 years. So it might be worth changing your habits. Now you're under 40 and you're telling me, okay, good. I'm prepared to change my habits, but what about my kids? They won't change theirs. Well, to start with, who gave your kids their consuming or food habits to start with? And second, I can understand that they won't like this, but between this and that, there's a lot of leeway. Now, what is this? I'm not going to give any brand name. Let's say it's a bread spread with chocolate nuts in it. And what do you see? A lot of sugar, a lot of fat, and in between, a little bit of cocoa and nuts. So in the end, you might tell me, okay, I will try. That's good. I've got good news for you. You see, about 10 years ago, I decided to change my consuming and eating habits. And I was looking for something to help me. On the internet, I found a little app called CoCheck. Now you can find dozens of them to choose from. I'm going to tell you about this one because that's the one I use, so that's the one I know. What does it do? Something very simple. It reads the code bar for you. And then it gives you, first of all, a general evaluation of the product. So you see here, the bigger the green part, the better. The red part is there to tell you whether there's something in the product which is in maybe too high a quantity or not so good for your health. In this particular example, it's sugar. Of course, it's raisins. The other thing that the app does is that it gives you some alternatives you can choose from if you want. It also gives you the possibility to set a number of criteria, like the fat limit or the sugar limit you want to put if you have problems with cholesterol or another kind of disease. I personally use it too for cosmetics and for cleaning products, because in cosmetic products, you might have a few nice or not so nice surprises. Products that are not, they don't have sugar or salt, that's not the problem, but that have ingredients that can be a bit dangerous for your health. And if that's the fact or the reality for cosmetic products, it's even worse for cleaning products, where we have to be very careful. And with that little app, you will know. You see, I've never been thrown out of the supermarket for using my little app. And besides, I don't use it every time. I don't scan products every time I go to the supermarket. I do it only when I have to choose from 2 or 3, or when I want to buy a new product that I don't know. And sometimes I've even had people coming to me thinking I was an employee of the supermarket, or coming to me and asking me what I was doing. And what I told the lady what I was doing, I remember very well. She said, "Oh, well, can you give me the name of that app? Because maybe I will try it." So, fellow Toastmasters honored guests, you see, with technology nowadays, reading food labels or reading information on a food package is not that difficult. Besides, by doing so, you might do yourself, your children, and the environment a big favor. And last but not least, we as consumers still have the power to choose. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nicole. You never disappoint. Never, never, never. Although I don't have a smartphone, so I can't use your methods. I have my eyeglasses, a magnifying glass, and I'll be honest, at one point I decided to give up Coca-Cola and switch to fruit juices. Not a good idea. If you check the labels on fruit juices, you might as well drink Coca-Cola because they have enormous amounts of sugar. So, fellow Toastmasters, you now have 1 minute to provide Nicole with your individual feedback in the chat. So, Toastmaster Pinar, as our timer for today, can you please time us for 1 minute, please?
It's 1 minute is over.
Thank you, Toastmaster Pinar. I don't know about you, fellow Toastmasters, but I never find that 1 minute is enough for something like that. I always wish I had a little bit longer, but be that as it may, it's now time to move to the second prepared speech, to a speaker who I know a little bit better, so I can say, darling, Toastmaster Vonya. who is going to be delivering a speech today, again from Pathways, persuasive, tongue-tied, persuasive influence. But before she gives us her speech, we'd like to hear from the evaluator as to the purpose, the objectives of her speech. So I now ask Toastmaster Lily to let us know what they are. Toastmaster Lily.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. Voina's speech is speech number 4 from the Persuasive Influence Manual, Researching and Presenting. This project addresses topic selection, strategies, suggestions for research, and methods for producing a well-organized speech. The purpose of this project is to learn or review basic research methods and present a well-organized, well-researched speech on any topic. Objectives. The overview is to select the topic that you are not already familiar with or that you wish to learn more about. Be sure your topic is narrow enough to be an effective 5 to 7 minute speech. Research the topic and begin organizing the information as described in this project. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lily. So now it's time for our second prepared speaker, who always is very, very prepared. I admire that in you, Voina. So I know we're going to find out a whole lot more. It's persuasive. I'm having trouble with that word, Mr. Grammarian. Persuasive influence. What are you going to persuade us to do? The title of your speech is Uganda, a center of electricity for the region. Uganda, a center of electricity for the region. Toastmaster Voina.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Hello, everyone. Do you know what is the future of Europe? Africa. Yes, Africa. And here is why. Economic, urban, industrial life requires agricultural lowland, which is spare in the earth. Deforestation is one way that many countries choose to make room for something beside forest, clearing the land for agriculture. The need of humanity for agricultural land and drinking water is extremely huge. The African continent, especially Central Africa, is rich in lowland and in water resources. According to a study conducted by Polis University in Tirana, in cooperation with myself, we found out that from Atlantic Ocean in Central Africa to Lake Tanganyika to Indian Ocean lies a lowland of 3,000 kilometers, an inclination of 0.5%. What does this number mean? It's optimal for agriculture use. For instance, Congo, the countries of Congo, Tanzania, and Uganda possess excessive lowland terrain and water resources, but do not use them for electricity production or waterway connections. And I'm saying that because 32% of Ugandan population, 32% of 47 million Ugandan inhabitants have access to clean water. And 32%, and 42% of 47 million people, Ugandan inhabitants, have access to electricity. Imagine for a second, if you didn't have access to electricity, we wouldn't have had the Toastmaster call right now. The government of Uganda has conducted their own research study about how to use Ugandan river for electricity power. It is a classic study and produced 3 to 4 gigawatt electricity power per year. But our study applying a different new approach realized the production of 4 times more energy per year without building dams and reservoir, and with the same amount of investment as the government. You know the offer. get two and pay one. Our hydropower plant, our project, our hydropower plant, transform Uganda into a center of electricity production, not only for Uganda, but for Central Africa with low cost. I am speaking to you right now as an Ugandan woman. If you want to have a contribution to any Ugandan lives person, so that they can have for one day or for a year more electricity, please share my article about Ugandan, about this project, because that leverage, that like, that share will help and will spread the voice of this mega interesting project that really, really add value to these 47 million people. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I give the word back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vanya. With this speech, you have now completed your first level in pathways, which is quite an achievement. So I think you deserve a round of applause. And now it's time for me to get it right. Thank you, Lily, for a note in the chat. The timer for today's meeting is not Pinar, but Rena. So each and every one of you have the opportunity to provide feedback to Vanya. And I ask Rena now for please 1 minute.
One minute is over.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rena. So the next part of this Toastmaster meeting will be our so-called table topics, impromptu speeches, thinking on your feet. And I can't think of a better person to ask us these sometimes challenging questions than Toastmaster Ines. So I invite Toastmaster Ines to take the virtual stage and lead us through the table topic section. Toastmaster Ines.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests. The table topics in our daily work and life is actually something which helps us to deal with challenges and to think on our feet. It helps us to be even better communicators as Toastmasters and to persuade others. The theme today is contributing to the future you want. Can we meet or can we weave the tapestry of possible future developments? It's very interesting that Nicole and also Voina both had actually their topics on the future and the power of us. So to get back to the questions I have prepared within this theme, the first question is, instead of predicting your future, you would create yours. What do you have in the pipeline for the next 4 years? I'm talking about 2025, to make the world a better place. Please use your intuition, and our intuition is actually our inner tutor, our inner teacher. Use that for this question. And I would ask Toastmaster Melissa, if she's there, to give her thoughts on this. Toastmaster Melissa. Hi, she's there.
Yes, hello? Yes, apologies. Can you repeat?
Okay, Toastmaster Melissa. So instead of predicting your future, you would like to create yours. What do you have in the pipeline for the next 4 years, that is up to 2025, to make the world a better place? Please use your intuition as much as you can.
Yes, so this is an excellent question. In the next 4 years, what I plan to do is help my kids, because by the time these 4 years are going to elapse, they will have to decide what they want to study, the university they want to go, and eventually what jobs they want to take. And I think it's our responsibility as parents to be very involved in this process. With the COVID environment and the remote learning, and more parents are getting more responsibility in these matters, and I think this is very important. And it's also up to us to understand what are the challenges of the future. We understand the challenges of brought about by innovation, brought about by machines, artificial intelligence, etc. So I hope that the time that we spend with the kids until they move away from home, it will be an important time to make sure that kids are on the right track to make this world a better future, a better place for all of us.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Melissa. It's very good to have you back, and we can feel your energy again. It's buzzing.
Thank you.
Moving around in the coming years, that means traveling, getting around, will change. And there is a common pass, and that is actually an airline travel standard, which is coming, and a green pass for our daily life, wherever we want to move or what we want to do. Vaccination is the buzzword. Your thoughts, please, with a focus on equality, especially for the developing countries. Toastmaster Gordana, could we please have your thoughts on this?
Thank you, Ines, Toastmaster Ines. It's a very good question, especially because it's somehow related to what I'm doing as well. So I think it is very important to tackle these issues on a global level together, just as we are doing right now with the COVID. We're trying to make the countries that are very powerful and rich to release the patent for this vaccination so that it's equally available to all. Considering the fact that the richer, the more developed countries are actually making more than 2 times, almost 3 times as more emissions than the other countries, we have to tackle these together. It is not also possible to find singular solutions just for one type of a country, just for one country or for one area or whatever. We have to include people from very diverse expertise, as well as include countries, from different economic status. So to conclude, we can only do better if we work together. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gordana. I like your ending, because that's really also the issue, which we will have to put in place. When we look at the time where we need to move, we're following up on the question before. We see that people need different, you could even say new impulses to discover adventures, to get some new experiences, etc. And the trend to watch at the moment, especially in Asia, is blind travel. This is different from a blind date. Blind travel is you buy your ticket and your travel package, and you do not know where you will end up. You only will know it when you arrive there. Will this tickle your fancy? Will you really support this? Toastmaster Julia, your thoughts please on this. How would you shape this?
Blind traveling. As someone who travels a lot and loves to organize everything that happens in a travel, blind traveling sounds a bit terrifying and a bit skeptical. How can I pack if you're going to the beach? Or if you're going to the mountains? Or what can you do? Can you actually get the best of a city just by looking on the same day what you can do? Or the best that you can have on a particular weekend in a city, like festivals or concerts, whenever that opens again. And I understand the logic behind it. You want to just be spontaneous and be creative in some ways. I think blind traveling will be very great for many people who do not have the time to organize completely everything, or they just want to encounter any type of new experiences. But for me, at least for me, I'll remain a bit more skeptical because the process of looking forward to a particular trip, fantasizing you being at the top of the mountain with the hair, that particular anticipation, it's what actually drives a lot of the happiness of the trip. In other ways, it actually sounds a bit more scary than exciting. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Toastmaster Julia. Yes, the world is full of skeptics, but also those who want to go beyond their skeptical mentality. We'll see actually how that developed. As Toastmasters, and especially in the area of communication, we see that we live in a time when extremes are popping up. We encounter persons with extreme opinions on a theme or a topic, on an issue. It can be social, it can be political. For example, one extreme vision could be, or an extreme opinion could be, I cannot find a job because the corruption is rampant. Or, you know, on any other issue, which really is very emotional to them. And we see what's happening now, that there is a cancel culture developing. And this comes actually from social media, the social media culture, and also from online communications. People are being isolated, people are being ostracized, and we see that if we are not careful, we are really getting into a type of cancel culture, canceling people out. So my question to you, Toastmaster Tristan, is, do you think this is the way to go? And how would you deal with it when you see people, or you encounter people with extreme opinions?
Fellow Toastmaster, honored guest. This is a challenging situation for our society. This cancel culture booming right now, especially in the US currently, and taking a lot of traction on it. And how can we address this? How can we challenge this? And to what extent it is correct or not correct to do. And I think we have to go back to our basics in a certain way of freedom of expression, and which we need to defend to be able to share our thoughts. And so if some people have some view on Snow Whites, it's good, but anyone can have their view they want. And as long as people can express their view without necessarily always offending others, I think we should try to maintain that level of balance in society. So I have no real answer to how best to tackle this cancel culture that is currently emerging, but it's the foundations to some extent of nationalism. And it's a worrying sign in our society in today's world, those elements that prevents our people to express themselves and still being respectful of others. So I don't have the magic formula for that. And I hope Snow White comes back and tell us how to do it.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Tristan. So we're looking for the magic wand from one of our storytellers. It helps sometimes. Staying with culture, we see that theaters are also looking for another way to stage plays. They want us to help them to unfold stories, to unfold dramas, and they want us to co-develop with them the play. You can say, why do I have to pay for such an expensive ticket if I would be part of the play? That's of course up to you. Rather than consuming it solely, how do you feel about this way of having a new culture in theaters, which will be emerging in the coming years? Toastmaster Gabriela, could we have your thoughts on this?
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Ines. That's a very interesting question. On one hand, I love theater. I'm happy to pay for a show and a spectacle that people put together. It's a form of living and it's a form of art. So I have no problem paying when I attend Broadway or any theater of opera. Now, being part of a play, that's a definitely interesting experience that I have never taken, I have never participated. I will be, of course, open to take part on this new experience. I'm sure there will be something that I can learn from it. And if I have to pay, of course, I will pay. There's people who will make the effort to organize and put the setting together. And I don't see it as a very different from just consuming. Actually, I think it's more interesting, maybe more challenging to actually control an audience when you don't have rehearsed together. So I will be very, very eager to participate in this new form of theater or performance. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Gabriela. These are the questions I'm putting forward to you as food for thought for the coming years. Watch what's happening and watch what your input will be in the coming years. You have it, and you have the power to make the changes and to shape everything. And with these words, I would like to turn the meeting back to Maria Teresa, Toastmaster of the day. Before I actually close this session, I would like to request you to please vote for the table topic and the inputs we had. I must say that the inputs, all of them, very thought-provoking, and it will be very hard to make actually a choice for the best table topics. Inputs. Just for your information, we had Melissa as the first speaker, the first contributor. Then we had Toastmaster Gordana, Toastmaster Julia, Toastmaster Tristan after that, and then Toastmaster Gabriela. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Maria Teresa.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ines, for leading us through, I think, one of the more fun parts of our Toastmaster Club. But you asked things that actually elicited some people had to think. And some of the things that were said were very profound. I appreciated it. But now it's time to find out what we did right, what we did wrong, but more importantly, what we could be doing better. So in order to do this, I give control of the meeting to our general evaluator for today, and that happens to be Toastmaster Monica. Toastmaster Monica, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster of the day. So now the key part, the evaluation part will start. And I would like to call our first evaluator, who's Toastmaster Maria, to give us the evaluation for Toastmaster Nicole. The word is with you.
Madam Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, honorable guests, and above all, Nicole. Today, you have presented to us extremely masterfully, as the main theme of your pathway is actually called, why we should change our habits. And as we all know, changing habits is very easy. The essence of it is in 3 elements: the what has to be done, the how has to be done, and also, and most importantly, the why. And here you have given us those 3 key reasons throughout your presentation, and especially throughout the images that you have been using of why we should be doing those things, and also how we have been doing this. And to me, this was the strongest part and the most persuasive part of your presentation, is that you not only told us about the issue, the risks associated with not checking what we consume on a daily basis, but you've also given us a solution, which is an app that you yourself have tested, and most importantly, shown very subtly through an image, which, having thought for a long time, I finally decided was most likely a Nutella jar, that food, if not checked, can actually be extremely dangerous and extremely unhealthy for us. So on this, those 3 key elements of a persuasive speech, you have filled them perfectly. What I would suggest that you do the next time would be possibly to add a bit more drama. Because apart from showing a Nutella jar which contains palm oil and a lot of sugar, you could have probably also told some stories, be it personal, or what we read in the news about tragedies that have happened to people who were not paying enough attention to checking the labels of the products they were consuming or using. And there have been quite a lot of those, especially in countries where babies were poisoned. And as a mom myself, I always pay a lot of attention to this. Another practical advice which I would give you is to do the slides, but also in a Zoom meeting to leave some space and possibly at the end for us to interact more directly with you and to see you. Because this is one of the elements I was actually missing. Your gestures are always very powerful. There is the voice power. There is this whole presence that you bring to a meeting. And let's say the last slide about the consumer power, the image did not bring to us that much of an addition. You could have actually presented it without an image, just being there yourself and kind of showing with all your body presence the importance for advocating for this habit changes. Otherwise, an excellent presentation, a very persuasive one, and it has definitely convinced me personally, and looking at the other members of the club who are nodding, I'm sure them as well, to use your app and to change your habits. Back to you, Madam Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmasters. Maria. Now I would like to call Toastmaster Lily, who is going to evaluate our second speaker today, who was Toastmaster Voina.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Dear Voina, lovely to see you. It seems your heart is really in Africa. You told us you are a Ugandan woman, and this was very, very moving. And the visual certainly told us that, with your dress, with your background, with your hair hanging down. I really felt your heart was there behind what you wanted to convey to us. Your topic was to persuade and research and present. To research and present an unfamiliar topic. When you first started talking about Uganda and water and electricity, I thought of some other presentations I've heard from you and felt your heart is really in this topic, and it is obviously something you want to share with us. And yet it was also obviously something unfamiliar, which you would like to become more familiar with and also share with your audience. Your topic, however, was not so clear. I believe I heard you ask, what is the future of Europe, Africa? And if you were trying to tell us that we as Europeans here need to pay attention to Africa, I think there must be a clearer way of getting that across, because that did not quite catch me in my mind that that was what you were trying to say. The rest of your presentation actually focused very much on Africa. I heard you quote a lot of statistics, 3,000 kilometers, 0.5%, 32%, 2 for the price of 1, which you expressed as get 2 and pay 1, a little bit of an awkward way of expressing that. More familiar to us would be 2 for the price of 1. I would adapt that expression rather than the way you expressed it. You also talked about the resources that are spare in the earth. I think what you meant was sparse in the earth. Your whole topic, your goal was to organize the speech to maximize audience understanding and to craft clear and engaging transitions between the main sections of your speech. Oops, I forgot to pin the timer. Okay. I felt that you could give much clearer transitions and actually some visual presentations, especially because of the weightiness of your statistics. I felt you could do more with a chart, with sheets explaining what you were talking about. Even the 3,000 kilometers was not exactly clear what you meant. I assume you meant the distance from one end to the other, and talking about the planes and the opportunities for electricity generation. Some of these points did not come through clearly. I think you took a lot of issues that you wanted to address. To me, it was clear you love Africa and you want to provide and help us to recognize and understand the importance of supporting the developments and the projects which can help so many people in that part of the world. And I guess you wanted to say, therefore, us as well. And one part of the topic, one of the requirements was to cite the sources to support your speech content and make the source available to the audience members, which you actually did after the meeting in the chat. I thank you for that. I want to look at that. I felt you could perhaps prepare some sort of a chart and make that available for us to see that during your presentation. So I would recommend that you have some sort of visuals, that you give us an overview of the points that you want to talk about. I feel that the requirement to make clear transitions between parts of your presentation was not really quite fulfilled. The final point was to practice your speech and continue to refine its organization, present your speech at a club meeting. I would highly recommend that you work on this topic. It is extremely intensive and complicated. You really took on a very challenging topic. And I feel that with a little bit more structure and presentations and a few charts and more focus on the transitions between the points, clearly elaborating the points at the beginning, that you could give us a much more effective idea of what you wanted to say. I haven't seen any time, so I don't know if it really isn't 2.5 minutes yet, but thank you very much.
It is almost a speech. It is 5 minutes.
I didn't see the timer, sorry. So I was waiting to see the chart. So okay, I didn't want to go under time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Lily, for the very detailed evaluation. Very good. Thank you. Now I would like to call the rest of my team to give us their report. Now I will start perhaps with our grammarian.
May I interrupt? We have to vote for the best table topics.
We already did, no?
We did? Okay. Okay.
Well, I don't know. I hope you, I mean, I sent my vote already through the chat to our ballot counter. I hope the rest did so as well.
Okay, I did it too. Okay.
Okay, so I would like to continue with our evaluation and call one of my team members, Toastmaster Esan, to please give us his evaluation.
Thank you, Mrs. Evaluator. To be honest, I'm not in a level to take the mistakes of my seniors. So everybody was really great in, let's say, in their language skills. But there were some few points that I just captured. For example, Vanya, she dropped in some places prepositions, and also she made a plural for the countries of Congo. And the second one was Mrs. Melissa, where she had kids to get better future. In my idea, kids to have better future. And then Gabriela dropped root verb of have several times. And yeah, so this was the main things that I captured. The rest all was professionals, and yeah. I give the floor back to Toastmaster Odile.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Essen.
Thank you.
Toastmaster Gordana, can you please give us your report?
Thank you, General Evaluator Monica. So I was the filling words counters, words like and I have to report overall it was a very good session. I really I'm very inspired about people who really don't use any of them. I don't know how you do it because I know I use them a lot. So to conclude, Melissa had a 9. I will just say those that are large, the rest had 0 or 1 maybe. So Melissa had 9, Tristan and Gabriela made 6 of those. And the rest, it's Julia had 1, and the rest it's really, Vojna had 3. And nobody counted for me, so I'm usually the master in that. So I'm sure it was a high number as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Gordana. Toastmaster Rina, you are the grammarian today. No, pardon, not the grammarian, but the timekeeper. Can you please give us your report?
Okay. Hello. Good afternoon. Okay. The timing is Nicole. The speech was 5 to 7 minutes, and she spoke for 6 minutes 20 seconds. Voina, it's also 5 to 7 minutes, but she spoke for 4 minutes and 46 seconds. Table topics, Melissa, 1 minute 6 seconds. Gordana, 1 minute 32 seconds. Julia, 1 minute 28 seconds. Tristan, 1 minute 39 seconds. Gabriela, 1 minute and 8 seconds. The evaluator, Maria, finished it 2 minutes 32 seconds. Lily, almost 5 minutes 43 seconds. This ends my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rina. Shall we already tell who is the winner of the table topics master, or shall we wait? Madam Toastmaster of today, I asked
think that comes a little bit later on. I'd like to hear your general evaluation of the meeting.
Fine. So my evaluation, just to keep it short, I think we started on time. The meeting was very well prepared. And if I don't mistake, all the roles were taken in advance in Easy Speak. We had one guest and he was very warmly welcome at the beginning of the meeting. I liked very much the Maria Teresa stress that we had to write our names down to, not only the names, but the roles next to our names in Zoom. So that makes it a bit easier for everybody to just call on the next person. Yeah, all in all, I think it was a very good meeting and I think we're gonna end on time. So that's my report. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Monica, acting as general evaluator. Well, I thoroughly enjoyed this meeting and I'm looking forward to the next, but I looked at Easy Speak and it's a blank slate. Nobody signed up to do anything. Now, Ines was talking about long-term planning. Let's do some short-term planning and let's put our heads together and let's try to fill our agenda, not necessarily at the last minute. With that, I return control of the meeting back to our Toastmaster, presiding officer, our Zoom master, and our distinguished Toastmaster, Tristan.
Thank you, Toastmaster.
Oops, I forgot to say, excuse me. I forgot, I don't remember everything. I think it's time now for the ballot counter to announce the best table topic winner.
Yeah, thank you, Maria Teresa, Toastmaster Maria Teresa. Today is the winner, Gordano. Congratulations, Gordano. Yeah, back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Pinar. So now it's time to return to our presiding officer.
Thank you, Toastmaster Maria Teresa, as doing the work of the Toastmaster of the day, taking that role and running us through today's meeting. I will be very short. I would like first to invite our guest, David, just to share some thoughts about this first encounter and experience of a Toastmaster meeting. Over to you, David.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tristan. I find it really insightful, and there are 3 points I'd like to address. First of all, the role that each of the Toastmaster had to play is quite interesting to see how people take control of the time, the grammar, as well as certain words that some people try to say. Also the different dynamics. So for instance, the prepared speeches, as well as the spontaneous interventions. But most importantly, feedback, which in the end of the day, you build after discussing what you have said, and this is the way you can improve. So these 3 are my main takeaways for today. I really enjoyed it, and I hope to reconnect every Tuesday again. Thank you very much, and back to you, Tristan.
Thank you very much, David, for your words, and I think it makes sense. And the first time I went myself to a Toastmaster meeting, I thought all these roles and this way of addressing to each other sounded a bit out of time, or like we were all in some kind of a straight jacket or kind of acting a Shakespeare play. And it sounded a bit awkward, but once you're in there, you understand the logic of it, and you don't reproduce the same way of addressing each other in a normal meeting, but you have the habits of ensuring that there's a certain structure and that there's a certain way you take the floor and you give the floor to other persons. So thanks for your share, and we'll look forward to see you soon. The next meeting will be on Tuesday, 18th of May at 6 o'clock, and I invite you to sign up for that one. And the next big important meeting after that will be on the Tuesday, 25th of May at 12:15, where we will also do a very short annual assembly at the very start of the meeting. On that note, I thank you all for joining
Tristan?
us. Yes?
Tristan? sorry, just before we close, if I can have 1 minute for a point of order?
Yes.
Yes, so it was nice to see you all again. I know I have been absent, but I would like to share that next Saturday, there's going to be, it's going to be actually Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and it's going to rain. So if you don't have many plans, you can join the district conference. I will have a workshop on creativity and how to spark creativity in the Toastmasters context. And Maria will be also participating. She will be helping me during this workshop. So I'm happy to share with you the link where you can enroll. This is a free event. Actually, my plan last year was to present this workshop in person in Crete, but then because of COVID, it didn't happen. And this year, the topic of the district conference is divergent thinking. And my idea to present something on creativity comes very well. It's the perfect match to the topic. So please join, and even if you cannot attend the entire conference, at least the workshop. So looking forward to see all of you.
Thank you very much, Melissa, and it was a very good point of view to raise that matter. It would be good if we could send an email to all our members with the detail of that.
Can I send to you? And because I don't have the current list of the Toastmasters.
To Melanie or Maria-Teresa, they know how to send an email.
Melanie, okay.
To all the members. I don't know how to actually do that.
Okay, yeah.
So Melanie will do that. Just send the information, and everybody who's interested, just sign up and participate in some of those sessions, workshop, or listening. And I think it's always an opportunity to gain some knowledge and experience on this. On that note, wish you all a great rest of the day. I look at Maya protecting the world, looking at the map of the world, ensuring that there's no nuclear explosion anywhere. So she'll make sure we're all safe on that. And on that note, see you soon. Bye-bye.